Hey everyone, it's Claire. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. So today what I'm going to be doing is making another drawing. So I'm starting with a sketch. I have not finished the sketch, but all I've drawn so far is the girl, and it doesn't really make sense, so let me explain what I'm trying to do. So it's going to be a picture of a girl basically looking into an aquarium. And I remember I was just looking at Pinterest, and then I saw there was this picture of a bunch of sea animals, and then I was like, it would be really cute if I did a person looking into a aquarium. So that's what I'm doing today, and that's why her hands are kind of out, like she's pressing her hands against the glass. While I was drawing this, I was like, I hope it doesn't end up looking like she's in the fish tank. But anyways, so I've already done the sketch of her, but I have not finished doing the fish or even started doing the fish. So that's what I gotta start doing now. So for this video, instead of having everything sped up, I'm gonna try to do most of the things in real time. I'll have to chop things up a bit, but I just feel like I've seen people who draw and do their drawing YouTube videos where I kind of feel like it's more enjoyable to watch it in real time instead of it being sped up. I'll probably have to speed up some things, but for the most part, I'm trying to make it so that you kind of see the real-time process of me drawing this. So now what I'm doing is I'm starting with drawing the fish. So the picture I showed at the beginning is what I'm kind of looking at for drawing the fish, because I can't really draw fish just from my head. If I did, they probably kind of looked very generic. So I just started with drawing the first fish. The first fish I did pretty quickly, but I just tried to make it look semi-realistic, but not super cartoony. And just after finishing that one fish, I had so much pencil markings all over the side of my hand, which happens every time when I draw. The next fish I decided to draw was a clownfish. Also, the reason that I have a index card at the bottom is because I ended up putting that over top of my other drawing while I was sketching things out, just because I really didn't want my hand to smudge the drawing of the girl or the other fish that I was doing. So if you see an index card and I'm resting my hand on it or something, that's just because I don't want to smudge the other sketches. The next fish I decided to do was a seahorse. I put the seahorse at the bottom of the page, and I've never done a seahorse before, but it actually wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. Kind of thought it was going to be harder to do because they have a weird shape and they're kind of bumpy, but I think it actually turned out looking pretty cute. In the picture I was looking at to draw the fish, I found this really big, chunky looking fish, and I think I've seen this fish at aquariums too, but I just wanted to add it in there just because he kind of looked really funny to me. So it's this really big, fat fish at the very top of the picture, and he's very round, and I don't know, I kind of thought he looked funny, so that's why I added him in this drawing. So I just went in with drawing a really big circle, and I did the funny kind of tail, which kind of looks weird to me. It's the tail's kind of upright, and then I gave him a little eye and a tiny little fin. He's kind of like a little derpy fish. So while doing the sketch after I did that fish, this is where I made a mistake, and I drew a fish that was behind the girl, which makes absolutely no sense, because how could the fish be behind her if she's looking into a fish tank? So when I went in to start coloring, I realized this mistake and I did fix it, but I don't know, it didn't even occur to me. I was just added this fish even though it would make no sense at all. But I ended up just adding a head later on, and then it looked fine. To fill up the space, I ended up adding a couple little baby fish here and there out of my head, just because I kind of thought there was some spaces that needed to be filled in where there was kind of some big gaps. So I just added I think I added 2 or 3 little fish. Now for my favorite fish of the whole drawing, doing the jellyfish. This one was really fun to draw, but also while coloring it, it just was so satisfying. And when I finished it, I thought the jellyfish looked so cool. So for the top of the head, I kind of drew a potato shape, and then I went in and did the part of the fish that actually electrocutes you. So the middle part is kind of more wavy in drawings that I saw that made jellyfish, and they're kind of connected together, but then they also have loose strands hanging about over the drawing too. And then for the top of the jellyfish, I just decided to add a couple stripes at the top. The last thing I decided to do was I added a little bit of seaweed at the bottom. I also tried to add some coral reef, but I also made the mistake of putting that behind her leg, and then once I was about to go into outlining and realized the mistake, I didn't really want to draw it, so I just ended up getting rid of it in general. Okay, actually I did add a couple more fish, which I forgot about. I ended up adding a starfish, and I added a pufferfish, which I added at the bottom. And even though the pufferfish was a last minute decision, it's my favorite fish. He looks absolutely adorable, and he's so cute. So after a little bit of messing around and adding some more little fish, I finally have the ending sketch. And now I can move on to outlining and coloring in my drawing. Before outlining my drawing, I'm going to go and grab my moldable erasers and erase the drawing just until I can see just a little bit of it, because by doing this, it helps so when you're outlining and coloring your drawing in, you don't get all these pencil marks at the end. After I erase it, I go on to outlining my drawing. Since the outlining isn't super entertaining, I decided to speed that part up. So here's the time-lapse video of me outlining my whole drawing, and I'll be back when it's over. Now for my favorite part, actually getting to color in the drawing. So for the background, I'm going to be using my koi watercolors just because I want to make sure it looks like water, and I think watercolor will do the best job of doing that. I'm not going to paint the whole entire drawing, it's just going to be the water for the background though. So I went ahead and I mixed together this shimmery bluish green color for the background. And then I went and I just painted the background. What I do before I do watercolors is I do one layer of just water on the paper first, and then I go in with the color, and it just helps so that everything spreads out nicely. So once all of the watercolor background dried, I went in to color the drawing. So first I'm starting with her hair, which I decided to do a blonde color. So I grab one of the lightest color yellows I'm going to be using for her hair, and I do all of the highlights first. So all of the lightest parts of her hair, I end up doing that first, and then I would grab my darker yellow and I put that in the back of her hair where there would be a shadow. And then after that's done, I just color the rest in with the yellow I'm going to be using for the rest of her hair. For her clothes, I decided to do a bright purple for her skirt, and then for her sweater, I did it a brown color, and then I added a little bit of pink for the undershirt, which you can sort of see poking out. Now I'm moving on to coloring her eyes, which I decided to do a bright blue color. What I do every time I color in eyes is I always do a darker color of what I'm using for the top of the eye, and then a lighter color at the bottom, and usually even a lighter color below that. I grabbed my Posca pen and I added a couple of highlights on her hair, and I also added a little bit on her skirt. But it turns out the Posca pen that I have is basically identical to the color of her skirt, so it really didn't show up that much. By the way, I did speed up me coloring the fish just because if I didn't, it was just going to be a really, really long video, and I just don't think that you guys would want that. So I'm going to stop talking for a little bit, and I'm just going to let you guys watch me finish coloring the rest of these fish, and I will be back when I'm done. I kind of totally forgot what a clownfish looked like and forgot that their stripes are actually black and white, so I had to go over top of the black with some Posca pen. After I finished coloring that all in, I still kind of thought it didn't quite look like a fish tank, so I grabbed my brown Posca pen and I did a brown border around it, and I think it really looks like a fish tank now. Here is the finished drawing. I'm actually super happy with this. I think it looks really good. I think the fact that I added a brown border and the white streaks, I think that really helped to make it look like she's actually looking into a fish tank. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I know this video is a lot longer than my usual videos, but thank you guys for sticking around and watching the whole thing. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. It means a lot to me. And please make sure to write in the comments if you have any ideas of what you would like me to draw next. I really enjoy reading your guys' comments. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. There is going to be a short that I post about this video too, so make sure to check that out when it comes out. And I will see you guys in the next video. Love you guys. Bye!